Why would I say don't ever take a trip to Santorini? Well, I'm telling you the story. It starts off with I was Army cruise with Norwegian Cruise Lines. I would give them a 0 out of 100 as far as their performance in all of this down to Norwegian. But when we got to Santorini in the morning, we got off the boat onto a transport boat that took us from the cruise ship to the island. At the island, they put you on a kind of floating dock and you can get up the mountain in a few ways. I don't think most people realize that Santorini is on top of the mountain and there's nothing on the bottom of the mountain. So you have to walk up 800 stairs. Yes, there's 800 stairs. There is a tram that'll take you from the bottom to the top. But when you have 3 cruise ships with thousands and thousands of people being dropped on a floating port to wait in line to get on the tram, and the tram can only take about 7 to 10 people per 5 minutes. So the wait to get on the tram was hours, and we decided that we would take option B. Option B is to get on a donkey, and the donkey will take you to the top of the stairs. Scary experience, and they don't give you a harness or anything to control the donkey. They sit you on it, you hold onto the saddle, and you pray that they don't know how to kick people off or bite or go the opposite direction or anything else that donkeys might do, and you hope you make it. Now, I don't know how many times I thought that mule was gonna kick up his back legs and knock me off, but there were a few times. And on top of that, their feet have polished the cobblestone to where it is so slick, their hooves are sliding all over the place, and you're on top of this donkey, hoping to make it to the top. When I got to the top, I was about 100 stairs from the top, and the donkey stopped, and it just sat there. It wouldn't move. Now, I forgot to mention that on the way up, the donkey was hip checking people that were walking up the stairs. Some people chose to climb the 800 stairs, and the donkeys didn't seem to like them too much. So they would knock into them, squeeze them up against the wall, or flat out push them against the wall. And a lot of people got hurt that way. But we didn't have control of the donkeys. So they only made us to control our donkey, and we can't. So it's a cluster all the way up. So we get to the top of the mountain. Finally, I never had to get off the horse. Because again, I don't have anything to hold on to. So I'm supposed to put one foot in the stirrup and jump down. I'm not a horse rider, never have been. So it would have been nice to have a little warning as to what was going to happen. I thought since I got on the donkey, that a platform that was as tall as the donkey, I would get off on a platform as tall as the donkeys. No, that's not how it works. They literally dumped me on the side of the steps with still 100 steps to go. So I walked the rest of the way. Um, I walked the other 100 stairs to the top and thought, let's get our shopping on. This looks like fun. So we started into the shops. Now, all of the alleys, ways, which are streets, are 2 people wide. So people going one direction or the other direction, and there's nobody in the middle. You can't stop and take a breather because you're in a line that you have to follow waving, getting out of the buildings. And you really can't change direction. You're just following the person in front of you. If you see a shop you want to go into, you pop in. And when you pop back out, you get right back in line, then you continue to walk in circles. The people there are the reason I say don't go to Santorini. I have never been treated so disrespectful, so prejudiced, so angry, so misguided by any group of people. So I got a bit of a lesson on what it's like to be hated for nothing more than the country you come from. So now part 2 to my discussion on Santorini. Santorini had, like I said, open air shopping. Went into one store. I had a backpack on my back to carry all my items that I bought and all the items that I needed. It was hot and very sunny, and we were sweating like crazy, but we were having a pretty good, decent time. I went into a lunch shop and was seriously looking at buying some vases that were created with the Greek gods. And I thought they were beautiful, and I was thinking about buying several of them. The woman that owned the shop came back to where I was at and told me to get out of her shop with that bag on my back because I was going to knock things over and break them. Okay. So I left that shop thinking that was really unusual and rude. But, you know, moving on. The next shop I went to had a seat out in front of it. And you got to imagine these alleyways that you shop on can only fit 2 people across. So one going one direction and one going the other direction. You really can't change direction. You are in line following the person in front of you, and you go in a circle this way. So, and I found a bench to sit on. I sat down quickly, needed a little break from my day so far. Additionally, I'm a smoker. So I was hoping to find a quiet place where I could go and smoke a cigarette, but I don't know the Greek laws. And I didn't want to do something that was going to get me arrested. So I waited there watching to see if I could find anyone else smoking. Nobody else was smoking. So I chose not to smoke a cigarette. Got up to leave, and a woman came out of the shop. Now, this is a perfume, diamond, jewelry shop. She passes me, goes around a barrier wall, and lights a cigarette. I thought, oh, good, I can smoke here. So I said, just being polite, actually wasn't even asking really, but just, making conversation. I said, oh, good, I can smoke with you. Her answer was, you never. Okay. Does that mean I can't smoke here? You never. Me, yes. Okay. So I left bar area. Later on, I tripped on the cobblestone, fell down, cracked my head, had a bleeding area on my forehead. Got that all taken care of. Thought, okay, this is not fun. I'm not having fun. So I'm going to head that down. Now, you didn't want to ride a donkey down, especially since down, their feet were less secure on the cobblestone that had been polished by their hooves. So I thought I'd walk. And walking's not unusual. A lot of people were walking up and down. It's a long walk up, but down's not so bad. So I thought I'll just mosey down the hill. Again, not waiting for the trolley or the tram, because the tram lane leaved in and out of about 7 blocks of buildings. So in order to get on the tram, I would have to wait about 2 to 3 hours. Walking down, I got to stair 500, and it's really cool. The stairs are actually numbered. So I was on about 550 actually, and I slid on a wet spot. You can imagine the donkeys are pooping and peeing wherever they want, and so you're being very careful walking down because you don't want to step in something. So I slip and fall. I break my leg. I'm laying there in this disgusting situation with my leg broken. Some people stopped, helped me get to the side where I could sit down on a rock. And I told them I would be fine. Somebody would come along and get me help. So down the hill comes the guy that takes the donkeys back to the beginning and to get them saddled up so they can go up and take other travelers up the hill. When he sees me sitting on this rock, he tells me to get out of the way. I'm in his way. And I said, my light's broken. And he said, move, move, move. And they said, I cannot move. So I waved the donkeys away from me, which thank goodness they did actually move around me instead of walking over me. But I'm on this little rock. I mean, I'm really close to the ground. So I'm scared to death that these donkeys are going to trample me. And this guy's not doing anything to control it. He's just yelling move at me. So they get by, and I think, well, I do need help. Maybe somebody will help me. The donkey rider came back by. I asked, please, can you get me some help? He shook his head like he was disappointed and kept on going. Okay, well, I mean, they're not going to leave me here all night, right? Somebody's going to come. Nobody came. My boat left at 4 p.m. I was still on the side of that mountain. Now, Norwegian left me, which I'm a little upset about because we had gotten notice to the boat that I was stuck on that stat and asked for them to then have some people come and get me, bring me back on the boat so I could see the doctor. Nobody came. Nobody came for me. The boat leaves and the whites are dimming. The shops are closing up for the night. And I am still stuck at 550 stair. So now I start screaming, somebody help me, help me, help me. And nobody would come. For 2 hours, I screamed, begging for somebody to send for an ambulance or come get me or anything, just so that I'd be okay. And I got thinking, I'm going to be sleeping here. And then they won't help me in the morning either. I'm stuck. I am truly stuck. So thank God, a man from England was staying in one of the hotels right above where I was sitting. He heard me screaming for help. And he came down and got me, or he came down and sat with me. And he knew some people of the Royal Caribbean cruise. And so he called them. And they, in turn, from Royal Caribbean, not my boat, called for an ambulance for me. When they got there, the fireman came with a chair for me to sit in. And they carried me up 300 stairs to the top where the ambulance was. And I'm so very grateful for that. But as I got up there, the town's members, the people that owned the shops, were sitting out in front of their shops, gawking at me. None of them saying anything. All of those people that were standing at the top would have left me to die, and they wouldn't have felt bad about it. And that's how much they love Americans. That's how much they want you to visit their country. That's how much they appreciate the shoppers and the tourists and the people that create funds for them to live on top of that rock. So, if you're going to go to Santorini, don't. It's a very dangerous place. I read in the newspaper a week later that 8 hikers had disappeared on the island of Santorini and were never recovered. All 8 were from America. That'll tell you what you need to know. It's super unsafe. And I wouldn't want anybody else to have to go through what I went through that night. Or other people. One, Norwegian does not care enough to even call an ambulance when they're notified that one of their ship visitors is stuck with a broken leg on the side of a mountain. They won't even call the Greek island to ask for an ambulance. Norwegian did not care. They did not apologize. They did not want to make my trip any better or fix their mistake. They simply just said, the guy at the port is supposed to have called the ambulance. Okay, but that didn't happen. So now what? 8 hikers disappearing on an island that's only 5 miles long? Something like that? How do you get lost on 5-mile island forever? It's not safe, and I want you to enjoy your cruise or your trip. I want you to have the safety that you so deserve. And so, jumped. It is at Santorini.